Something interesting. Okay, so we're gonna make Frogger. Where is my Frogger code? Beautiful. Okay, so this is your base code for Frogger. Let's copy and paste it in, and we'll talk about what it does. So Control A, Control V. Okay, so I've got one car, a frog that moves, and at the very top, it goes to score, right? So score equals 2, etc. So let's talk about how it does this. We have at the very top, we declare a frog and cars. And it says bracket, bracket. Does anyone know what that square bracket is? What do we call that square bracket, square bracket? I mentioned it at the end of the last lesson, but that's okay if you don't know because we haven't really covered it formally. It is an array or a list. Okay? And what that means is that's not one car, it's multiple cars. Okay? So, and then we have a variable called score. Score is set to 0. In our function setup, we do two things. We make a frog, and we make a car. Actually, I don't like this code. I should have fixed it. I thought I fixed it. This code does what we want, but I don't think it's very clear. So I'm going to make it a little bit more clear so you know what's happening. And I'll repost the code. Let C equal. I prefer to do it like this. I thought I corrected the code. I haven't changed anything. Functionally, it's exactly the same. I think visibly, it helps you understand what's happening a little bit. This makes one car, right? That car is at negative 100, y 300, its width, its height, and its speed are all there. And then we add it to the cars list. And the way we add it is push. Okay? So how many cars are there in the list? How many are there in the cars in the list currently?
Like
One. I could go like this. Saptarshi said infinity, and infinity is actually quite true because I could put infinity in there, and then I could do this. Okay. How many cars are there in the list now? Yeah, because there's 3 pushes. They're all in the exact same spot, but I could change the spot by going like this. And actually, if we see it, if we hit play now, we'll see that there's 3. And they're all so close together that you can't really see it. So let's do it 70 and 220, and maybe we'll see a gap now. Let's go like this. Yeah, okay, now we can see it. So adding a new car is simple. You just make it and then push it. But there's a couple things interesting about the way we added them. One, we use the same variable name. Right? That's strange. There's 3 car, but they're all called C. The other one is I only said let for the first one. Why didn't I do let for the next 2? The reason why I didn't do let for the next 2 is let declares a variable, right? So I'm telling the program, there's this variable called C. It's a car. It already knows there's a variable called C. I will have an error if I put let again. Because it's like, wait a second, you already got a C. Now you got 2, what's going on? Okay, I can't do let again. If I wanted to do let, I could go let C2 and let C. All done? Or?
I think so.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you send me an email, let me know if it doesn't.
Okay, so I could do that, but that relates to my first question. My first question is, why are they all called C? I've never done that before. Like in any of the other games, if I make a separate thing, I've got to call it a different name. But in this one, I can use the same name, C. I can use C 1,000 times. Anyone take a guess why? It has something to do with the list.
like infinity, so like you don't need like tons of like variables. You know what I mean?
Genius.
Oh,
Yeah.
actually?
Well, close. Yeah. Because in the other parts of the game, we don't use C. We use the list. And the name is irrelevant because it's now the car in spot 1 of the list, the car in spot 2 of the list, the car in part 50 of the list. If we were going to use the names, then we wouldn't need a list, right? But the reason why we want a list is because we don't want code that every single time we want to make another Frogger, we've got to copy and paste the code. Okay? So we only do this when we're adding to the list because we've got to do the specifics of each car, right? But later on, you'll notice that we won't go C2. So actually, maybe I'll do it this way, just to make it very clear. Okay? So we might want to do this here, but you'll notice that in the other spots, we never call it C1, C2, C3, because we just take it out of the list and do whatever we want to the thing in the list. Okay? So notice that nothing's changed, it still works. Okay, I've got 3 cars. And just to make it clear, let's move this one to 350 so we can see 3 separate cars. 1, 2, I guess they're so wide. Long, yeah. No, wide, width. I guess it depends on how you think about it. Width is 100. Oh, I have to auto refresh. That's how it's going on. Okay, so you can design your levels simply like this, right? And we could do one going. We could say this one starts at 700, and this one is up a little bit, so maybe it's at 100, and its speed is going negative. Yeah, okay? That's pretty cool. So we could have ones going to the right and ones going to the left. Okay, so now let's look at draw. We've done this before. We draw a background. Here we do draw road. Draw road is a function that I've put down here, okay? So really it just calls it in here. There's a few reasons why it's nice to do that. Because draw road, it's got a lot of code in there, and it makes our draw really big, right? So if you find you're going to do a big thing, you could just make it a function. And then move it down here. Function, draw road, and the code will happen whenever you call it. Okay? And I guess like the reason why I'm saying that is sometimes I'm noticing your draws are like 5 pages long. And they get unwieldy. So you could just make them shorter by adding a function. And maybe we'll do that with the cars. This is the first part where we're actually doing something funky with the cars. Okay? So remember I said we're not going to move C1, move C2, move C3. What we're going to say is move every car. Move however many cars there are in the list. Okay? So the way it does that is we use a for loop. This for loop says, for every car in the list, start at car 0, go to the end of the list, that's what car's length is, and go up by 1. Okay? So we start at car 0, we continue until we're at the end of the list, and we go up by 1. If we did this, what would change? Are we going up by 1 or are we going up by 2? We're going up by 2. So if we go up by 2 through the list, are we covering every car in the list? No, we're covering every second car in the list, right? This is what makes us go through every car in the list. We start at 0, then we go through 1, then we go through 2, then we go through 3. If there's 1,000 of them, we'll do 1,000. If there's 1, we'll do 1. Okay? So what this does is takes the car out of the list. It says make a variable called C and set it to the first car. And then what does this do? That moves the car. Yeah, it moves the car according to the speed. Okay, now does that move every car or the first car? Yeah, it depends on how you think about it. If we're only thinking about I equals 0, then it moves the first car. But then it loops and it moves the second car. Then it loops and it moves the third car. So yeah, that line moves every car. C is every car inside the loop. Here I say if the car is off the screen, move it back to the beginning. Actually, again, I'll try posting this code, negative C dot W. I like 0 better, it makes a little bit more sense. Or, yeah, I guess the reason why it's negative C dot W is because they sort of pop there. Yeah. So we could say negative 100. I mean, negative C dot W is actually the perfect code because it's the width of the car off the screen. But I don't find that it's particularly clear when a student looks at it. So sometimes I do things to be proper, but so I'm starting it off the screen, negative 200, and that's why it looks like it comes onto the screen. Then I draw the car, and I say, if the car hits the frog, reset the frog. Okay? So when does the loop end? Right where it's highlighted. Notice everything that's affecting the car, everything that's C is in one loop. Okay? So what I might actually do, just to make it easier on our cars, I might actually make a function. So I'm going to go cut, and I'm going to say draw and move cars. Okay? Just to make our draw a little bit less unwieldy with all these thousands of brackets. Now I can just say function draw and move cars. Again, I haven't changed anything. I just made it maybe a little easier to look at. Okay, so we're doing good. And actually, it is really nice if I can see the draw in one screen, right? Instead of like 5 pages. So when a lot of times you'll ask me like, oh, we got these bracket issues. Well, I can quickly see the bracket issue now without the for loops getting in the way. This is the frog. If the frog gets to the end of the screen, do the score. Okay, this is a long video. This is a long time. What I wanted to do was do levels and show you how to do level 2. Level 2 should look different. The grass should be red, right? Maybe there should be some water and it should be logs, right? But we'll do that tomorrow. So for today, I want you to make a level 1 that makes sense. The one thing is that you noticed this one doesn't respawn. Notice that? This one doesn't respawn. These ones do respawn. So we know it's in draw and move cars. Why doesn't the one going left respawn? Someone? Because it's going in the other direction. Awesome. Because this says if the car is greater than the edge of the screen, move it back to the beginning. Well, we need something about the cars that go the other way. So why don't we say if c.x is less than, now I got to be careful here because I spawn them off the screen, right? So if I did less than 0, the ones that I spawn to the left would respawn infinitely, right? So let's say something big like, see this is 200 up here. I can't do 200. I'm just going to make it 100. So if it's less than 200 here, okay, so if the ones going to the right are less than 200, well then c.x equals, well, what's off the screen in the other direction? 700. Okay, so now this guy should respawn. Should respawn. Oh, see, it's actually pretty funny. It's funny how this is catching it because it's greater than 600. So that's that infinite loop I was talking about in the other way. So I put it in a spot that this one catches it. So actually, I'm going to teach you something new here because really this would cause lots of problems. I only want this to work for the cars that are moving in which direction? Yeah. This only works for the cars going to the right. If they hit the right wall and they're going to the right, then respawn them. So how do we know if a speed is going to the right? Going to the right, is that positive or negative? Positive. Okay, and I'll go to the I'll go to the thing and show you why. Right on the grid. Right, we operate in this plane here, and this right here is 0, 0. Right. So if a car is getting its x is being added to, then it is going in this direction. That's positive. If a car is being subtracted, that's that direction, right? So here now what I'm saying is, if the car is greater than 600 and it's going to the right, then it needs to go all the way back to the left. Now I can say, if a car is less than negative 200 and, that's the word for end in JavaScript, c.speed is less than 0. Okay, and it's going to the left, and set it back to 700. Now we should see it. Okay, so now the code's actually better. Now you don't have to do this again for your fourth car, right? Like I can make a second car now. So let's make another one up there. And let's make this 650. Oh, this was supposed to be this is the car. This is the car at the top right here because it's got a negative speed. So let's make it 700. Okay, so what's your job to do? Make a really good level 1. Okay, I'm going to replace the code that I put on with this code only because I feel it's a good starting point for you, but I do want you to understand this code, so to struggle with it a little bit. Tomorrow we're going to do level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and make it so that the background changes each time. Any questions? Was that confusing as all hell? Was it confusing? No?
But like the easiest one.
Yeah, I think maybe in the future I might want to start with Frogger, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a new post called Fixed Frogger.
Yeah, my dad has the same phone.
Magnetic with magnetic.